All right, shalom, shalom. First off, I want to give all honor, glory, and infinite worship to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Racha, HaKodash, Lalam Yom. With Yahweh being the true name of the Heavenly Father, who the worldly calls God. Bahashem, meaning in the name. Yahweh Shai, being the true name of the Lord, saving nation of Israel, who the world English calls Jesus Christ. And the Racha, HaKodash, meaning the Holy Spirit in the ancient Paleo Hebrew tongue. I want to give double honors to my apostles, elders, and bishops of Great Millstone, who rule well, and who are the true leaders of the nation of Israel. And also say peace and blessing to the Lord's elect. All right, this is Brother Mashal. Come back at you with a quick lesson to the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem Yahshai, representing the Cleveland Church of Great Millstone. I want to say the Wadi Yahweh Bashem Yahshai, forgive me spirit and having the mercy for allowing me to do this lesson. And I'm going to touch on a quick video I was scrolling through on YouTube. And this video popped up. All right, and this just more folly, man. Just more folly being brought out in Israel by these so-called celebrities. All right. People that done took the bag, now they got to uphold a certain level of wickedness, okay, to remain relevant in Esau's society, Esau's system. All right, now here we have Lil Boosie being a badass, right? If you catch my drift, you know what I mean. He is making wickedness, trying to make it. See the thing is, man, down south. It's a heavy spirit down south, especially in New Orleans, man. All right, and it all goes back to the Esau, being in that land. You know what I'm saying? After he took over, stripped the land from the Gadites and certain Reubenites, but I'm talking about in that Louisiana Bayou area. You know what I'm saying? That was owned by the French. Okay, the United States was, well, it wasn't the United States back then, but it was owned by 3 different Edomite nations. All right, you had the French, which was down in the Louisiana area. You can read about that, the Louisiana Purchase. But it's a real heavy spirit down there in that area. And crawfish is one of the major things that they Jake Flex eating crawfish and all the different seafoods, right? But this is just a man that's still looking to be relevant in the Esau system, man. That's ultimately what it is, right? I'm gonna play the video, and we're gonna get some precepts and close it out. And just real quick, that just looks nasty to me, man. I may maybe in the world, I don't think I ever ate, this stuff in the world. I know crawfish, I don't think I ever had it in the world. You know what I'm saying? Of course, I had shrimp and all that garbage, you know what I'm saying? But just looking at it now through the spiritual eye, that looked like I wouldn't even want to touch that. But Jake is making it a flex. And see, this is just wickedness being spread, okay, to blind the judgment or the ability to judge for the Israelites. All right, because this tells you in the Apocrypha that there was wicked men, right? First Maccabees, chapter 1 and verse 11, it says, in those days went out there Israel wicked men, who persuaded many, saying, let us go and make a covenant with the heathen that are round about us, for since we departed from them, we have had much sorrow. You see, so ultimately this is going into the Hellenization. So what did they do? They Hellenized us to the point where we left the laws of our land, and Esau set up I'm gonna say popular men, right? They had elders, you know what I'm saying, that persuaded Jake to succumb to these things, man. And this is all what it is, man. The same thing's happening now. But in order for people like Lil Boosie these different celebrities, in order for them to remain on top, they got to keep you bottom feeding Jakes in a zombie comatose state, man. You see? The money that they dish out to these NBA players and all that, then they dress like half, I ain't gonna say half, just like moles walking down the runway aisle. You know what I'm saying? And they ain't got no problem paying them $50 million a year, man. Because why? Because ultimately, a $50 million is chump change compared to the money that they're making and generating off of the Israelites. So they need people like him, man. They need your, wicked singers and the ones Jake worship, man. Building shrines and stuff like that. Willing to step over somebody's child to get an autograph or to touch a celebrity's finger, man. But that's the world we live in now, and now Esau has allowed not only us to worship these graven images, okay, these idols, but now Esau has made people idols, man. And this is why Jake has to sell their soul in order to still be relevant, still being able to be put out there. Going back to the scriptures. So this is these covenants that they're gonna make, man. What type of flex is it? Right? How come you couldn't with all the money that nigga got, how come you couldn't build a pond and put some type of lawful fish in there for the community, right? He could have did that, but no, he wants to, try to make this a flex, right? Let's go to let's go to Leviticus, chapter 11, and verse 9. It says, "These shall ye eat of all that are in the waters." In the law, still stands, man. Okay, now we're not judged by the law. Okay, because we're in a time of grace and mercy. All right, but the law it tells you in Baruch, the 4th chapter, that this is the book of the law that endure forever, man. And no matter what you goofy Christians try to make it seem like, the Lord didn't come to do away with the law, man. All right, he came to be that sacrifice, so that way when we do fall short, not willingly fall short, but do fall short, that we're not judged. All right, but on Leviticus 11 and verse 9, it says, these shall ye eat of all that are in the waters, whatsoever have fins and scales in the waters, in the seas, and in the rivers, them shall ye eat. And all that have not fins and scales in the seas and in the rivers, and all that move in the waters, and of any living thing which is in the waters, then they shall be an abomination to you. All right, so if something is swimming in the water and it doesn't have fins and scales, then it's an abomination, man, and you shouldn't be eating it. When the Apostle Peter had the vision in Acts the 10th chapter about there was all manner of 4-footed beasts and stuff like that, and the angel told him to arise and eat. And then Christians say, "Oh, well, see, we can eat anything. Don't worry." But ultimately, when you go to, that's why it's important to read. That when you go down, it tells you that the vision was basically a similitude, and it refers to call not man common or unclean. Because why? Because Cornelius was the first Gentile Israelite foreigner, right, to receive mercy, to come back, right, to come back into the fold. So that was the vision of the Apostle Peter in Acts the 10th chapter. So we can't eat shrimp, crab, and lobster, crawfish, catfish. Those are bottom feeders. They suck up all the poop and all the waste at the bottom of the ocean, man. And people call it a delicacy. You know what? Let me ask ChatGPT something, man. Let me see real quick. Let me ask: is lobster a delicacy? It says yes, lobster is widely considered a delicacy in many parts of the world because of its flavor, texture, limited availability compared to common seafood, and the labor involved in catching and preparing it. You see, so ChatGPT tells you, yeah, lobster is considered a delicacy, man, and it's more information on it. And I had brought this out on the line a couple weeks ago. It says, interestingly, lobster was not always viewed as luxury food. In early North American history, it was so abundant that it was sometimes fed to prisoners, servants, or used as fertilizer. You see? So this was prison food, man. You think of the slop that prisoners, you know what I'm saying, eating in jail, in prison? You know, back in the early 1900s, you know, that's what was that what was given to them. That's like the equal of it, man. Because it's a trash food. It's not even meant to consume. It's something called an exoskeleton. Let me see. Because inside a lobster and shrimp and crab is just mush. And the exoskeleton, let me see. Exoskeleton. Probably one word. An exoskeleton is a hard outer structure that supports and protects an organism or machine, right? Many animals have exoskeletons instead of internal bones, including crab, lobster, a beetle, and a scorpion. You see? So it's all just mush in there, man. Just full of nerves and, you know, in veins and stuff like that. And this is why when you cook it, and you break the bone open or the exoskeleton, it's flimsy, because all you're doing is cooking up mush, stuff that's floating around that they can't even excrete. So you eating up all that stuff that they've been eating, man, for their entire life, man. And this is called a delicacy. All right, let's go. Let's go to Isaiah. Oh, is there any more on that? Yeah, that's it on that. Dang, what did I just say? Isaiah, I'm about to go to Isaiah 5. And verse 20, it says, woe unto them that call good evil and good, woe unto them that call evil good and good evil, that put darkness for light and light for darkness, that put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter. You see, so woe unto them that call good evil, man. And then present evil like it's good, man. You see, in us that's in the know, we know that we're judged for these type of things, man. And we know that it's a judgment coming for that. Right? Let's go to Isaiah 66. Isaiah 66. And 15, it says, "For behold, the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushua will come with fire and with his chariots like a whirlwind, to render his anger with fury and his rebukes with flames of fire. For by fire and by a sword will Yahweh Bashem Yahushua plead with all flesh, and the slain of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua shall be many." All right, so this is a prophecy of what's going to happen when Yahweh returns, man. When the Most High Yahweh sends his only begotten Son, okay, Yahweh to redeem the elect of the nation of Israel. And it says, and the Lord's going to plead. Now, that word plead goes back to judge. So the Lord's going to judge all flesh, and the slain of the Lord shall be many, man. It's going to be a lot. It's going to be a lot of death. But hey, this says in Jeremiah 15 that those that are numbered for the sword, to the sword, for the famine, it's going to be a lot of stuff going on. Right, and that's why Yahweh said, ultimately, let me get that real quick. Luke 12 and verse 49. It says, I've come to send fire on earth, and what will I if it be already kindled? All right, so ultimately, Yahweh is, like it says in the 2nd to the 13th chapter, this place is already going to be rocking with nukes. All right, the fire is already going to be on Babylon the Great. All right, and Yahweh is going to be coming to putting that finishing touches on this, the icing on the cake. So yes, Yahweh will be coming back in the midst of World War III. Which is imminent, which we see on the horizon, man. So this is why we don't follow or worry about, well, just, I don't know why it's not refreshing. But that's what's going to happen when Yahweh makes his return, man. It's already going to be, that fire is going to be already kindled. All right, Yahweh going to put that fanner, all right, adding to it, man, until this whole place is just a lake of fire. All right, but continuing on in Isaiah 66, and what's going to happen when the Lord makes a return, right? The slain of the Lord is going to be many, like it says in verse 16. In verse 15, it says his rebukes with flame of fire, those nuclear missiles, the right aiming thunderbolts from the chariots, the so-called UFOs, UAPs. But to the hopeful elect, we know it's the chariots of salvation. All that's going to be the blow that's gonna knock Esau out, man. And we'll be changed. Lord willing, I'm a part of that number, man. But the elect will be changed. Because only way out is up, man. Only way out is up. So that them chariots are gonna be doing that dual work, man. The chariots, the lasers coming out, and men getting beamed up, women and children. It says, but what's going to happen also? It says, verse 17. It says, they that sanctify themselves and purify themselves in the gardens behind one tree, eat in the midst, right? Meaning what? That you think you all good because don't nobody see you, right? You get comfortable. You're comfortable. That's what it means to be hiding behind one tree. What does it say? Eating swine's flesh. And what is that? The pig. Your pork chops, your sausage links. If it ain't beef or chicken, or turkey, you got to get rid of it, man. So all you pork sausage biscuit lovers, hey, you gonna die when Yahweh Shah makes a return, man. And just real quick, it's my job. I see a lot of people, and cool dude. You know what I'm saying? Jake. He's like, tell me a story. He's like, yeah, man. I had been to this pork chop, man, and I cracked my wisdom tooth, man, and it was so much pain. I had to get it pulled out. I'm in so much pain. I'm like, damn, man, that's messed up. That's what I said outwardly, but inwardly, I'm like, man, see, your ass got judged, man. What you thought was gonna happen? But my face was just, hey, man, hey, that's messed up, man. Really? Oh, damn, damn, man. You good? Hey, but inside, man, I don't care, man. That's what your ass get. That's the judgment of Yahweh Bashim Al Shai. But this is going to be happening on a whole larger scale, man. Right? And it ain't just going to be one tooth. It's going to be your whole body getting burnt to a crisp. All right. So it says, they that sanctify themselves and purify themselves. So you think you all good? That God knows my heart. He judges the sin, but not the sinner. It says, they that sanctify themselves and purify themselves in the garden behind one tree in the midst, eating swine's flesh and the abomination. What else is the abomination? We just read it in Leviticus 11. Okay, and we were specifically talking about crawfish and shellfish. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the 10th verse, it tells you that it's an abomination unto you. Right? Continuing on, it says, and the mouse. Because you got people that eat mice. You may if you eating lobster, you might as well eat a mouse when Yahweh Shah makes a return, man. It says, continuing on, it says, shall be consumed together, saith Yahweh Bashim Al Shai. You see, so all you swine lovers, you pork chop lovers, your crab lovers, lobster lovers. That's why a lot of women smell funky as hell, man, because they bodies full of pork and shellfish, man. And all type of things, man. So everybody that's consuming these things is going to be consumed together, man, when the Lord makes his return. Right? Let me read it in the NLT. We're going to wrap it up. It says, those who consecrate and purify themselves in a sacred garden with its idol in the center, feasting on pork and rats and other detestable meats, will come to a terrible end, saith Yahweh Bashim Al Shai. So see, it links all of these different animals representing different types of abominations that there are, right? Pork, rats, and other detestable meats. So Lord, when this was edifying, I'm going to give all honor, glory, and infinite worship to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakha, HaKodash, Shalom Yom. Double honors to the apostles, elders, bishops, great millstone, who were well. Hey, don't let these paid off celebrities ruin your judgment, man. All right, it says in Revelation, the 19th chapter, that the Lord is going to judge this place in righteousness and make war in righteousness. All right, so to the next time I say, Shalom.